I'm Pooja. I'm a 2013 fellow. I teach 34th graders in Nigam Pratibha Vidyalaya in the Mandavli community of Delhi. So when I entered the fellowship, I took a while to understand the background of my children, because within the four walls of the classroom it was very difficult to understand where the child is coming from. So they were coming from a background where education was just very meaningless, and that was one of the biggest challenges I faced initially when I entered the classroom. Growing up myself, I did not get many opportunities, and one of my favorite quotes are that you cannot ask a fish to climb a tree. So it was really important for me that each and every child identifies what is his or her interest area, and then give them opportunities in those areas so that they can actually become what they dream to. But then as I came into the second year, I realized that there are a lot of problems in their community which are going to restrict them and are going to be obstacles for them to achieve whatever they want to, and it is very important for them to identify those problems and start working towards them at a very young age. The first year, one of the biggest mistakes was I made my kids very dependent on me, and this was my vision the second year, that I do not want them to be dependent. Without me, they should have the power to continue the education. Plus I really wanted them to be really high on values. I really feel that it is about the holistic development, and just academic achievement is not going to take them too far. They need to be very rational. They need to have that respect. And as we moved on, I really wanted them to be even generous, how they identify that there is a class which is even more underprivileged. Never should I force anything or impose anything on my kids. If I have a vision, they should tell me theirs, and it should be an integrated vision of the class, not just my vision. As far as academics is concerned, I would not say that 100% of my kids are on track, because I feel that every kid has his or her own level to grow. As far as values are concerned, my kids are very well on the track, because even without teacher intervention they are demonstrating values, which makes me feel that even in my absence they would continue to do so. As far as the rigor is concerned, I want them to look at problems in a very real life way. I don't want them to come out with answers. I want them to know the process. I want them to learn from each other how they're getting to a conclusion, if they are. I want them to be very discussion oriented, to be learning from each other. When my kids started participating in Inspire, which is a TFI event for all the students who are there in a city, we started off with discussing what we can do. I did not want the idea to come from me, and after a lot of ideation, the kids came up with the problem in the community that pollution is a very big problem. They went and took surveys. They came back, they told Didi, the theme of our class is reuse, reduce, recycle. We need to implement that. We are not going to use plastic bags. We'll end up making cloth bags that our mothers can help us stitch in the Kwap Tailoring Center. They came up with the idea of making dustbins out of cartons, dusters out of waste cloth, and all these things really gave me confidence that it is not about the age, but it is them identifying the problem and then articulating how can they solve it. So in order for them to achieve where they really want to go, they need to be really hardworking. Intelligence varies from child to child, but if every child is hardworking, they will be able to get to the level they have to. So for me, it's very important that each and every child of mine is hardworking, interested, and is very focused. They are clear of what they want to do and why they want to do it. Over the 2 years, I have developed an amazing connection with them, which I don't know how to define, but it's very easy for them and me to share. It's not a teacher-student relationship. It is more of a learner-learner relationship in which both of us are teaching each other. Given my ultimate vision, my daily actions of telling them every single day that no day we should come to school and not learn. First value which I brought in, which I thought was the most important, was respect. I started with respect because I identified that my kids lack a lot of respect for the people around them, for the environment, and for their basic culture. If in the classroom we have a culture of equality, it should be there everywhere, and they should learn how to praise even the sweeper or talk nicely to them. And very important for them to realize that the way you behave with others, the similar reaction and response you're going to get from them. So the sweeper coming into the class and just them greeting them, Namaste Didi, change the outlook of that female towards the children as well. one of the greatest leadership qualities a teacher should possess is of working relentlessly, because the kids actually look up to you, and the moment your kids see that you are losing out or you are falling weak, you can just see it translating onto them. It's only the resources and the kind of education that they are lacking, and once that education is provided, how they can change their own life trajectory, how the power of them changing, the power they hold in their own hands to change where they're coming from, and what role education plays in that. During the fellowship, I really acquired the attributes of patience. It is very, very important to be patient in front of the kids, because they just absorb everything that you portray in front of them. One of the very important characteristics any leader should also have, that no matter what the situation is, you need to keep your calm and grace. I was very driven by emotion initially, but then after coming into the fellowship and through my journey, I just realized that it is a reality which you need to accept, but at the same time, if you think about what is causing that, you can actually make a difference to it rather than feeling bad about it or rather than getting emotional about it.